you would make Kaci favourite, but then again, you would have made Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz favourite last night. He was 4-up on Kelly Fisher, and Kelly won the last 3 racks. So welcome, Jason. Good start to the day.
Yes and no. Nah, I thought I played okay. I missed a couple of early ones, but you know, it's first match of the morning. Still a little bit waking up to do, but delighted to get the win and wait for the last match of this session, and I'll be back on against David Alcady, I believe.
So I asked Carl Boyes this question yesterday, and he was pretty honest about it. How was Kaci in that Mosconi Cup environment this time? I believe he was more of a team player than previously.
Yeah, I don't think he's not really been a team player in the past. I think he's just new to it. You know, it's hard to go into something playing in teams if you've never done that before. So if you're always playing singles events, it's hard to get adjusted to it, especially with the crowd on top of you as well. So that adds more pressure. But this year, I thought he was more involved. He kind of gets it now. I think he gets that it's a team event, it's not just a singles event, and he was pretty good. I was impressed with the full team this year.
Inevitably, we always start talking Mosconi Cup when you come into the box, Jason, because you've played so brilliantly in that over the years. When it comes to selection, it really is an embarrassment of riches. You could pick 3 or even 4 teams from Europe and they would be competitive.
Yeah, it's tough on, you know, the Americans. They got a lot of good players. The problem is that they're so used to staying in their own environment. You know, I think if they traveled a little bit more outside the States, they would get more experience. And you know, I really do see a lot of young players coming through in America right now, and I think in the next year or two you'll definitely see some of these guys being with a shot of maybe making the team. But yeah, Europe's just the strength going forward, like you said, is crazy. You pick 3 or 4 teams, so trying to get in the team is very difficult. So everybody's, you know, we got all these events now all season to get there with a ranking point, so nobody can really complain. It's up to you to do it.
Well, the shoe-in for the American team is Skylar Woodward, who has just taken the first rack over on table 2 against Lucia Schiapp.
Nice break and run here from Kaci to get yourself off to a good start.
Yeah, he's so highly rated, Eklent Kaci. When he's down on the shot, he takes an awful lengthy time, doesn't he? When he's actually over the shot, someone who's instinctive like you, you'd find that very difficult.
Yeah, I think it's just the way he's growing up. You know, I think he comes from a snooker background, so you know he's very technical, and I don't think he's doing it to, you know, to try and shark anybody or do anything. I think it's his routine, and that's the way it is. You know, you look at someone like Ralph Suki. He's not the fastest player. You know, he's not slow, but he likes to take his time and really figure the shot out and put 100% into it. So, you know, it works for him.
I was talking more technically, really, in the sense that he's not a slow player in terms of choosing his shots, but when he's actually down on the shot, he's very static, and I would find that hard, actually. It's like a golfer who gets over the ball and just stays there for a few seconds without moving, and then goes into his swing.
Right, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, he doesn't swing the cue much. Yeah, he stays right there on the ball and then gives a little couple of like feathers on the cue ball and then finally releases. Actually, a little bit like a snooker player because they don't really cue up to the ball.
Well, he won the Albanian Snooker Championship just after the Mosconi Cup, beat his younger brother in the final.
Yeah, I think he says to me his younger brother's he's going to be a really good player in the next. He's already a great player, but I think he's looking to try and become a professional snooker player. But yeah, nice break there from Kelly. Parked the cue ball dead in the middle of the table. Got kicked a little bit, and she has a shot on the 1, but this is tough. She's going to have to try and follow this ball and go one rail past the 9 and straight back up the table. Yeah, it was tough. She'll be not happy with that, but she'll be happy not to be snookered. I think you'll see Kelly here just bank the 2 ball down the table and put the cue ball over to the right hand side, try and hide behind the 3 and the 9. She hit it a little bit too thick.
We've talked about her win over Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Her other match yesterday was against you, Jason. 5-1 to the Eagle Eye.
Yeah, I don't, even though I won 5-1, she actually broke pretty well. I think she made 4 balls, 2 breaks that she broke in a row, and had a very difficult start. So, you know, it's always tough playing someone you know well. And, yeah, you know, I was just happy to win. But she had a good win last night. I watched that match. She was down, and she kept fighting, and Sanchez gave her a few chances, and she took them, and she got her first point on the board. Good shot there from Kaci, but very unfortunate little flick to the 5 ball to leave him no shot. There's a couple of ways he can play this. He can try and draw this ball and send the 3 round the table and hold the cue ball up the top, or overcut the 3 and bring the cue ball back down towards the 4. Yeah, it was tough. It wasn't easy. So, opportunity for Kelly.
Before turning our attention to pool, to great effect, Kelly Fisher won the Women's World Snooker Championship 5 times, and the Women's World Final was played last night up in Sheffield at the Dingjan Way Snooker Academy. The winner was Nucharat Wongharatai from Thailand. It was a really grueling final. It went on quite late, and it was very dramatic at the end. She won 6-5 against Belgium's Wendy Jans on the final black.
I think the first time I met Wendy was at the World Games in Poland. They had the snooker at the same time, and there was a few of them there playing in the event. A little bit too much there from Kelly. The table's real slick out there, so you gotta have a good touch, and it's easy to let the cue ball get away from you. So you might see Kelly play safe here, or she might try and bank the 6, but I like just chipping the 6 from the side rail to the bottom and sticking the cue ball behind the 9. Get it up the table. And just like that, she hit it perfect. Might have just creeped out a little bit there and left Eklent the edge.
Now that's interesting. You said she'd hit it perfect. I thought she'd hit it perfect. It just underlines how quick this table is.
Yeah, it's really quick. I think you might see a bank shot from Eklent here to the top right corner. And you know what's deceiving about that shot is on a regular table, but that goes in all day. So there he's like over the ball thinking, is it going in? Is it not? For people at home, these pockets are definitely the tightest pockets I've played on over the last few years. And it's exciting to watch because you're not guaranteed to run out every time. Oh.
That just about crept in the green 6 ball. And now Kelly Fisher is back on level terms. The first 2 racks have been shared. What an exciting year of pool it's going to be. So many great tournaments all around the world. We've got a Euro Tour event coming up at the end of February, the Lascaux Open in Slovenia. Then we reconvene here to Milton Keynes for the World Pool Championship. 5 days of intense action from the 6th to the 10th of April. So, Jason, out of all of those, I know you're looking forward to the Mosconi Cup. Apart from that, what is it?
I'm looking forward to the World Nineball. That's my goal this year, is to try and win the World Nineball. You know, I've never really, you know, I've set goals all years and tried to do stuff, but it's weird. I've never really, like, I've always tried to win it, but it's not like been on my mind at the top of the thing, because there's so many big tournaments. I love a lot of tournaments, but now the World Nineball being back in the Matchroom is definitely something I want to win. And yeah, the World Pool Masters, I'm looking forward to that too. The new event on the calendar, the UK Open, I'm really looking forward to that. There's going to be a lot of English 8-ball players and 9-ball players, and it's going to be fun.
Well, the first thing with the UK Open isn't to think about winning it, it's to think about getting in. There's a massive reserve list. It is so well subscribed. Really looking forward to that as well.
Nice break there from Kaci, and the 8-ball just creeps in his way there as you see it coming up and just staying in front of the cue ball. So you're going to see Kaci push out here. And I think just push the cue ball up here on the right hand side, just past the 4. You know, you're going to leave maybe a shot.
Push out the card.
But you can't leave a bank, but you will leave an easy safety shot. So maybe he's going to push down this side of the table and just leave it long.
Score update from table 2. Yap and Woodward are now level at 1-1.
Kelly, your choice.
Very surprised at that. Kelly will be taking this 1 ball on with automatic position for the 2, so she just has to give this everything, commit to it. Heart of the pocket. Great shot there from Kelly Fisher.
Technically, she's a very good cueist.
Yep, she's up there with the best. She'll want to get a late angle here just to pot this 3 in the corner and come out, try and shoot the 4 ball on the same hole if it goes.
While we've got you in here, Jason, I must ask you a question about these 4-inch pockets. I think it follows logically that as a really good potter, this must give you an advantage, because the tighter the pocket, the more accurate you need to be, and you're very accurate.
Yeah, I feel obviously with the top shooters, they're going to have a little bit more advantage when it comes down to shooting balls and having tougher shots, but you will see us miss balls. It happens just because you're so used to playing on a standard table. Once you miss one and it comes up again, you start thinking about it. So the pocket then becomes smaller than it already is. So you definitely see us making a lot of good shots, but you will see us miss some too. Yeah, Kelly's she's looking good. She looks like she's been practicing hard and putting a lot of time in. And I was talking to her yesterday. She said she feels good. She was playing snooker last week with a 9-ball cue, and she had a 1-3-7, and she nearly had a 1-4-7. She missed on the 12th red.
Yeah, she can play all right, and at the moment she's in the ascendancy against Eklent Kaci. Early days, of course. It is 2-1. More pool coming up. Jason Shaw is off to get some more practice as if he needed it. I'm joined in the commentary box now by Michael McMullen.
I think I need the practice at my pool game a lot more than Jason does. Interesting, actually, listening to him talking about Kelly Fisher and her exploits last week playing a bit of snooker. You would think now that she's back based in the UK, and given a record in snooker, that she might actually play some snooker events.
Well, I spoke to her about that and I made that point and she said no, it's just recreational in the club.
Guess there's a lot more money in pool anyway, and she's getting invited into events of this standing and, as we can see, performing quite well. So might as well stick with what she's doing for now. She's made her mark in the world of snooker anyway, 5 world titles.
I'm impressed by what I'm seeing here, and there's no doubt Jason Shaw touched on this as well. Her break-off is working. So Fisher leading 2-1. If this 2-ball goes in, which it has, 3-1 is looming.
Well, this is already very different to her win over Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz last night. I felt what she did there was just capitalise on a succession of errors that Sanchez-Ruiz made, particularly towards the end of the match. And she did a good job in that respect and got over the line. But this is very different today. She's actually playing quite well. I was chatting to her yesterday, and she knows she's right up against it in a field of this quality. I guess she would have come in just looking to try to win a few of the matches, see how well she could do. But if she wins this and goes to 2 wins out of 3, particularly when you consider the quality of the players she'll have beaten, well, then she's bound to start dreaming of being one of those 10 players in the next phase. And given that she's lower ranked than anyone else in this, it'll be quite a feat.
Superb. Kelly Fisher could be springing another surprise at the expense of Eklent Kaci. Here are her thoughts.
You know, going into this tournament, I'm always looking as being the underdog. You know, it's the only woman in the event. I like that because it kind of just gives me a little of a challenge just to try and have some good results. And if I can create some upsets in this event like I did last time, I think, you know, that's mission accomplished. If I can go through to the next stage, even better. I have a big heart and I love a passion for the game. So when I come into it, I don't think, oh, you know, if I lose, I'm okay. I'm coming in to win every match. And have a desire to win every match, and that's really, I think, the most challenging, the most enjoyable thing about these such elite staged events.
I think that really bears out what we were saying there, that she feels if she gets a few wins, that will make it a success for her. But as she said there, she's not ruling out the possibility that she might make progress and still be here for the next phase.
Well, she's got my support entirely. This is apropos of nothing really, but I think it's worth just giving an airing. Isn't it amazing? You had 3 women's world snooker champions. Mandy Fisher, Alison Fisher, who did so well in the world of pool, then Kelly, all of them with the same surname, all of them entirely unrelated from different parts of the country. What are the chances of that?
Well, you had 3 world snooker champions called Davis, but 2 of those were related, of course. So, yeah, it is quite strange. Here's one for you, though, Phil. You, like me, are a fan of a broad range of sports, so you're quite well placed to answer this. Can you think of any sport where there's so little gap between the best men and the best women compared to pool?
Well, obviously, National Hunt jockeyship. Rachel Blackmore is absolutely brilliant, isn't she? And we must also say the LPGA Tour. That's wonderful to watch.
But if you put the top players from the LPGA Tour to play in a PGA Tour event, they'd never be able to compete the way Kelly Fisher, Christina Tkach, Yasmin Ocean, we saw them here last year, would at this level.
And Alison Fisher as well.
Well, absolutely. Greatest female cueist of all time. I think most people would agree. Across both snooker and pool.
Another chance here for Kelly Fisher. The 2 goes to the middle. No ifs, buts or maybes. Now that was a common theme yesterday, players overscrewing. It's much easier to get traction on this cue ball with backspin than you might imagine. The 5 ball still goes, but she wanted to be straighter on it.
Extension called.
The 10-second warning was verbally given, as it always is. And Kelly Fisher realising that this is a very key shot. Just takes that 30-second extension to collect her thoughts. The extension basically is used in 2 instances. One, when you're in a very complex situation and you need to work out the best shot. And then the other time is when you're clearing up.
Yeah, and if you've still got that lifeline, as it were, available to you late in the rack, and you know that you're not going to need it for any subsequent shots, well, why not use it? Give yourself just those few extra seconds for what you know is going to be the determining shot. But the plan overall hasn't worked out in this case, and could this be a real turning point?
That was unexpected, the way she was cueing. So, the 8 and 9 ball for Kaci to draw back to 3-2 behind and grab a lifeline. There it is. You know, Kelly should have won that. She knows it, but it was a pretty bad miss, wasn't it? And as Michael said, that could be a pivotal moment. Now, over on table 2, 2 is the number. It's 2-2 between Skylar Woodward and Alusha Shap.
Yeah, Woodward just made a 7-9 combination to win the previous rack. Both in the same position going into this one. Both got 1 win from 3 out of yesterday's play. There are some players who are flying really at the moment, the likes of Ocean and Filler and Shaw. You feel they'll be the sort of players near the top of the table at the end of the phase. So these are the guys, Woodward and Yap, who are sort of around the middle section and could all be decided from their point of view by the matches they play against other players in that region.
Attention, please.
Of the table. So an important one for both of them.
Must make a point here. The set is just delightful, isn't it? Obviously behind closed doors, but the way it's been set up surely makes the players feel special.
Well, we were only reflecting yesterday about some of the early matchroom pool events that were played in shopping centres and places like that. You would never have dreamed would have this sort of situation. And now, of course, the crowds are coming back when we come to the events that do have the public in. Imagine what that's going to look like. And, of course, we were at Alexandra Palace just before Christmas for the Moscone Cup. And having been behind closed doors in Coventry 12 months earlier, it was just wonderful to be there with such a packed house. And you could just sense how delighted everyone was to be able to go to live sport again. What an atmosphere we had that week.
And at Ali Pali, if Scarlett Woodward had scratched there would have been howls of delight from the European faithful.
The 6th rack. Kelly Fisher is leading by 3 racks to 2. And move break.
So look for all the world as though she was going 4-1 up. Instead, it's 3-2, but she does have the break now in rack 6.
I'll tell you what, the Kelly Fisher break-off is definitely on target. Look at this. As good as anything we've seen from anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 4 balls down off the break, and I'm pretty sure that's not the first time she's done that in this tournament. And of course, you've also got to have a shot, but she's certainly got that as well. I don't think this rack is going to last much longer.
The thought she's not got to dwell on here is that this should be the clearance to win the match, because of course she could have been 4-1 ahead but for that missed 7 ball. Just forget about that now. Nothing you can do about it. 2 very important words in Q Sports: don't dwell.
Yeah, she's got so much experience. She wouldn't have achieved what she has in pool and snooker if she didn't have an ability to put these things to the back of her mind. She knows you're going to miss easy balls from time to time. Well, you said the breaking is as good as anything we've seen. You could probably say the same at this stage, bar that unexpected miss a little while ago. About the overall performance, Phil.
This is really, really good. Kelly Fisher on the hill, looking for 2 wins out of 3. Eklent Kaci is in a spot of bother. We are getting ever deeper into the first round-robin phase of the Predator Q's Premier League pool. On table one, Eklent Kaci breaking off, can't afford any more mistakes. He's trailing Kelly Fisher 4-2. On table two, I can tell you Skylar Woodward has just taken a 3-2 lead over Alicia Shiap. The good thing for Kaci, he had that break, and then if he gets to a deciding rack, he'll have that one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Big if, though, isn't it, when you consider how well Fisher is controlling her breaking racks at the moment.
The cue ball went close to the middle pocket, but there's no way that Kaci would have played that had he thought the angle was there to go directly in. Mind you, he was quite close.
10 seconds.
Extension, please.
And when you're 4-2 down in a race to 5, this is the definition of a pressure shot. Hence the use of his extension. Very well cued. Given its context, perhaps the best shot of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows how well Fisher's been playing here and knew not only that he could miss this, but also how decisive it could be if he did. Now, does he play to leave himself the combination here? Does he come across for the 8 into the same pocket? Shall be routine from here.
One down, 2 to go from Kaci's perspective. But of course, in the 8th rack coming up, Kelly Fisher will break. On table 2, Alicia Shiap trying to draw level against Woodward. Oh, lovely bank. But the finishing position of the 7 ball has done him no favours. Just enough room there to make a full enough contact on the 6 to make the bank. Yeah, that could be costly. He caught the brown 7 ball just a hair too thick.
Extension, please.
Now you see again what you were talking about earlier. It's more about the significance of this shot than the actual difficulty of it that has prompted Woodward to use his extension here, because he still has it in hand.
That kind of shot is a real confidence builder. Struck it. Lovely.
It was interesting what Jason was saying earlier there, because we've talked about how there's such a lack of American players coming through to follow on from the likes of Van Bonen and Woodward, but he lives in America and he seems to feel there is some talent that we're really going to see emerge over the next couple of years, which I think we need from a Mosconi Cup point of view, given how dominant Europe have been in recent times.
Yeah, so Woodward prospering over there. What about the Kelly Fisher break off here? Look at this. She's found the golden touch again.
Textbook, absolutely textbook. I honestly can't think of anyone who's broken as well as this in any of the matches. Four balls down off the break in both of her last two breaking racks.
Yeah, 4 balls down. Shot on the next ball. That's the recipe for success in Nineball. Had to play that one delicately to hold the cue ball. It just about sneaked its way in, and now she's a massive favourite.
When you're up against players who are all on paper better than you, half the battle is just to have the belief that you can live with them and that you can beat them. Well, the way Kelly Fisher has started, okay, she had a heavy defeat to Jason Shaw, but she was competitive, and it looks as though it's going to be 2 wins over two very good players to follow. There'll be no problem with confidence and belief then.
You know, looking back on that one ball, it really was top quality. She didn't want to hit the one too thin because the cue ball would have run towards the next ball, so she hit it as thick as she possibly could, which meant going off the jaw. That meant holding the cue ball. And now victory is just a couple of pots away.
I think that was the last moment that you could have seen any prospect at all of it going wrong.
Kelly Fisher wins the rack.
Simply terrific.